Something's coming. Something you don't want to miss. 'Cause it's coming in hot.
Exciting, isn't it? And it ought to be. You can't be around one and not feel it. It has an air, an aura, a mystique that is uniquely its own. It will catch your eye. It will quicken your pulse. It is America's only real sports car. It is the heartbeat of American automotive engineering. It is Corvette. Conceived by one of the premier auto designers of all time, the Corvette has had 4 decades of excitement bred into it. Join us now as we explore the evolution of a legend and the essence of a fantasy.
The year was 1953. Eisenhower had just become our president. The Korean War was winding down. Millions of Americans frequented diners, drive-ins, and ice cream parlors. And Chevrolet introduced a new sports car, which it called the Corvette. Americans got their first look at the Corvette at the 1953 Motorama held in New York. It incorporated many radical innovations. Its profile was low and sleek. Its front end sported an eye-grabbing bar grille and caged headlights. The interior appointments verged on the luxurious and featured 2 bucket seats. And the body was made out of something called GRP, glass reinforced plastic, or fiberglass. The Corvette was an instant phenomenon. Demand for the vehicle was so great, it has been estimated that Chevrolet could have sold 20,000 of its first issue. But revolutions are hard to start and hard to sustain. In 1953, only 300 Corvettes were produced. For the 1954 model year, the Corvette moved its assembly plant from Flint, Michigan to St. Louis. Production skyrocketed with about 3,600 Vettes rolling off the line. The future of Chevy's new sports car should have looked rosy. But at the end of 1954, there were still 1,000 or more Corvettes left unsold. Something had gone wrong. The Corvette was suffering from a serious case of ambiguity of purpose. You see, there were 2 segments to the sports car market in the United States in the mid-50s. While one wanted a cushy boulevard cruiser, the other wanted a hell-on-wheels racer. The Corvette, while flirting with both these segments, satisfied neither. In 1955, Chevrolet made only 700 Corvettes. Ford, on the other hand, sold over 16,000 of their new Thunderbirds. Corvette needed a savior, and it got one, by the name of Zora Arkus Duntov. Duntov was a racer engineer who joined the research and development team of Chevrolet in 1953. Although he arrived too late to have much influence on the first generation of Corvettes, his impact thereafter was unmistakable. In 1956, the second generation of Corvettes hit the American roads, and Chevy served notice to the world. This is no boulevard cruiser. The Vette had come to race. The stock V8 power plant, which actually was introduced in 1955, was modified for 56 to generate 210 horsepower at 5,200 RPM. A twin four-barrel option was also available that produced 225 horses. The stock transmission was a standard 3-speed manual box instead of the decidedly unsportsmanlike 2-speed Powerglide automatic transmission that the first Corvettes used. The suspension and braking were also brought closer to true racing standards. And then there was styling. Even standing still, the Corvette looked fast. Its forward-thrusting front fenders gave the impression of a sprinter straining in anticipation of the starter's gun. Sweeping back from the front wheels was a concave scoop. This was a torpedo on wheels, and if you think this was fast, look out for 1957. In that year, Corvette introduced a fuel-injected Demon that generated 283 horsepower and went from 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds. America liked what it saw, even if it often was just a blur. In 1956, production jumped to 3,467 cars. In 1957, it soared to 6,339. The body styling changed again in 1958. Chrome was in fashion, and the Corvette certainly got its share. It also got twin headlights as well as some other modifications, mostly to the front end. Overall, the Corvette displayed a more glamorous look. It had also put on a few pounds, but Chevrolet's dedication to speed hadn't slackened. But the fastest engine option available in 1958 could dish out 290 horsepower. Over the next few years, the Corvette just kept getting better. Power and performance were improved, and a variety of styling changes were made, including a sassy little upturn of the tail section in 1961. Americans obviously approved of what Chevrolet had done with the Corvette. After all, they bought 14,531 of them in 1962. But the Corvette had established its reputation as a revolutionary and a rebel. Some people began to wonder if Chevrolet had lost its taste for revolution. In 1963, Chevrolet answered these people, and the answer was Stingray. Corvette took a quantum leap forward with the Stingray, and things have been hopping ever since. The body was still made of fiberglass, and the 1963 was equipped with one of the same engines available in 1962. But from there on, the Stingray broke new ground. The chassis was changed, the brakes were improved, and the rear end was equipped with independent suspension. The Stingray had a great feel. It also had a stunning new look. From its concealed headlights in the front to the split windshield in the back, this was definitely a new generation of Corvette, one bred for speed. The Corvette bloodline evolved quickly with a rapid-fire series of refinements to the Stingray. In '64, the split rear windshield disappeared. So did the false louvers on the hood. The vents behind the rear window were made functional instead of merely ornamental. and the car's ventilation was greatly improved. Noise and vibration were reduced, and the car became more comfortable. In 1965, more styling changes were introduced. More significantly, however, the 65 models came equipped with disc brakes on all four wheels. A good thing, too, because one of the engine options available that year was a 396 cubic inch V8 that churned out a whopping 425 horsepower. Incredibly, 1966 and 67 witnessed the availability of even bigger and mightier power plants, including the L88 with a compression ratio of 12.5 to 1 and an output of 560 horses. The Stingray was not a car for the faint at heart. But then, Americans are not known for being faint at heart. The production of the Corvette nearly doubled to over 14,000 in 1962 to almost 28,000 in 1967. Well, what can I say? America loves a winner. In 1968, the Stingray itself evolved. Its styling was altered to bear a striking resemblance to its experimental cousin, the Mako Shark. Some thought that Shark was an appropriate moniker for this road raider and even suggested that the Stingray's name be changed. But a rose is a rose, and a Corvette by any other name is still a Corvette. The Stingray name stuck for another decade and a half. It was a different age, though. In the 70s, chronic gasoline shortages forced a trend for smaller, more fuel-efficient engines. And a growing concern for our polluted environment caused auto manufacturers to take drastic steps to reduce exhaust emissions. Neither of these trends were happy ones for the makers and owners of purebred sports cars. The Corvette continued to evolve, but along a somewhat different path. During the 70s and early 80s, the main emphasis seemed to be on adding luxury appointments. Wood grain trim, power windows, integrated air conditioning, leather-trimmed seats, stereo tape decks. It was still a beautiful and powerful automobile. But was it still a rebel? After all, in 1982, you couldn't get a manual gearbox even as an option. Was the Corvette being absorbed into the mainstream like the Thunderbird and Mustang before it? In 1984, Chevrolet answered this question. The answer was a simple one. Hell no. Once again, Chevy showed its mettle, or should we say, fiberglass. In that year, it introduced the next generation of Corvette, a Vette that was redesigned, re-engineered, and ready to kick some tail. Chevy's marketing department warned us, "You've never seen anything like this before." And to think that some of you believe advertising people lie. The generation of Corvettes introduced in 1984 was a whole new animal. Re-engineered from the ground up, it was an exquisite melding of power and beauty, a fact recognized by Motor Trend magazine when it anointed the Corvette Car of the Year. At many times throughout its history, it has been hard to imagine the Corvette getting any better. And yet, through the last half of the 80s, the engineers and stylists at Chevrolet kept finding ways. And then came 1990. And then came the ZR1. Ultimate Corvette, the fastest production line automobile in the world, The ZR1 is capable of speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour, straight from the showroom floor. Nobody builds them like this. But just how do they build them? And where? As we mentioned earlier, the first Corvettes were built in Flint, Michigan. But from 1954 to 1981, they were manufactured in St. Louis. In 1981, however, a new, state-of-the-art assembly plant was opened in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And from 1982 to present, every Corvette has been made here. We thought you might like to see what goes on behind these doors. About an hour's drive north from Nashville through the rolling hills of Kentucky is the town of Bowling Green. Historians have their own reasons for remembering Bowling Green. It was a commerce center during the years of the westward expansion and served as the Confederate capital of Kentucky during the Civil War. For the sports car enthusiast, however, Bowling Green shall be remembered as the home of the Corvette. This is where the heartbeat and heart-throb of the American automotive industry is made. The assembly of a Corvette is an incredibly complicated task. In one part of the plant, the construction of the driveline begins. The standard L98 engine from Flint, Michigan, and the ZR1's LT5 power plant from Stillwater, Oklahoma, are hoisted off their pallets and positioned on the assembly line. Line workers are guided by a manifest to ensure that the powertrain they build here will match precisely with the proper body, which is being assembled elsewhere. The driveline begins to take shape as a variety of smaller assemblies and the transmission are installed on the engine. The vehicle identification number, or VIN, is stamped onto the engine and transmission. This is an important feature for the purchasers of vintage vets and restoration buffs, for it helps them identify authentic engines. Here the engine and transmission assembly are being joined with the front end suspension. Later, the prop shaft, rear brakes, and anti-lock braking system will be installed. In this operation, the gas tank is attached to the rear bumper extension of the frame. By the way, of all the vehicle manifest sheets that follow the Corvette through the assembly process, only this one on the gas tank will accompany the car to the showroom floor. By this time, the driveline is nearly complete. It soon will be making its way to the part of the plant where it is linked up with the rest of the body. While the driveline was being assembled, the construction of the body was underway in another part of the plant. The assembly of the body begins with the construction of the uniframe. Small sections of the frame, attached to something that looks like a large cafeteria tray, wind their way through the factory and are delivered to the first of a series of robots that will do much of the assembling. Here a robot arm swings into action. It snatches a section of the frame and positions it so that another robot can begin to weld pieces together. As one section is completed, it is moved to another position where more welding is done. Although much of this work is done by machines, there is still an important role for humans to play. The frame begins to grow and take shape. A certain percentage of the uniframes are pulled off the line and checked by this device. Here the frames are precisely measured at some 200 points. These measurements are fed to a computer which ensures that assembly is being performed to precise specifications. The time has come to begin attaching the body panels. In earlier years, this was done through the use of rivets. Today, much of the work is accomplished with super strong adhesives. In this scene, we see the back deck being positioned and secured to the frame. Once most of the body panels, doors, and hood have been attached, the painstaking painting process begins. First, the body receives a coat of black Pauline primer. After emerging from the drying oven, it is inspected and hand sanded. The body then goes to the wet deck for an overall wet sanding. Then it's to the body washer where it is thoroughly cleaned and dried. Once it passes another inspection, the body enters the painting booth, where the robot painters take over and apply the final coats of DuPont paint. And then, you guessed it, still another inspection. If the body doesn't pass, it is pulled from the line and sent through again. Chevrolet's fastidious attention to detail is evident at every phase throughout the production of the Corvette. It is an enormous effort, one supported by experts from many industries. The painting operation is a good illustration of this. When the painting operation has been completed, the body is placed on the trim truck for the next part of its journey. During this phase of assembly, the outside and inside trim work will be done. Front bumpers are attached. The instrument panel, or IP, is assembled. Tested, installed, and wired up. The front and rear windshields are put in place, and the side windows are mounted. In this operation, the convertible's removable top is put on. A little later, the door molding is installed along with the inside door trim. Here we see the rear bumper assembly being finished in preparation for attaching the bumper itself. The time has come to unite the beauty with the beast. The nearly completed body is lowered onto the drivetrain in this part of the plant called marriage. Shortly after marriage is completed, the Corvette is decked out with a new set of Goodyear tires. A little farther down the line, the Corvette's luxurious cockpit seats are installed.
Yeah,
And finally, the big moment. A few gallons of gasoline are pumped into the tank, and the Corvette is started for the first time. The Corvette is ready to carry its own weight, and so it's lowered to the floor and driven off the line. Job isn't over yet. Each car undergoes a comprehensive computerized static road test to check the function of the engine, transmission, braking, and suspension systems. From here, it's a short drive to the shower stall for one final leak test. After this, every ZR1 and a sampling of other models gets a road test. Then it's to the finesse line for some final sprucing up. And, of course, one last finishing touch, the Corvette emblem. The cars are then driven to an adjacent lot where they await their turn to be loaded on for shipment to the dealers. Throughout every step of this process, a visitor can't help but be impressed by the pride and commitment to quality exhibited by the workers here. Ed O'Keefe is the manager of the Corvette Engineering Action Center in Bowling Green, Kentucky. As such, one of his main concerns is customer satisfaction, and his department has implemented an aggressive plan to keep the lines of communication open between Chevrolet and the Corvette owners.
I manage what we call the Engineering Action Center, and it's my job to communicate with engineering, Bowling Green, and to the customer and to the dealer. And we have a lot of knowledge at Bowling Green, and we want to share that with the dealership community and keep them as smart as we are on the car. And it's our primary goal to have continuous improvement. And the way to do that is to absolutely talk to customers and talk to dealers and bring that feedback to the engineering community and to the process so that we can absolutely continue to improve the car.
There is a lot of pride taken in the Corvette, and there's a lot of employees that are very proud to be associated with the Corvette in particular. And I know that Corvette and GM takes a lot of pride in this particular car. What does Corvette have, in your opinion, that sets it apart from any other vehicle manufactured by General Motors?
I would say there are a number of things. But the best way to describe that when we talk to customers is that the customer feels that they wear the Corvette, they don't drive it. And I guess that's probably the best description. And there is a lot of pride all the way from what I call the upper management, the Dave McClellans, the director of Corvette, the plant manager, Paul Snays. The dedication is there, and the people do have a pride. And I think that enthusiasm, that pride, is carried over and reflects to the product. And example, I am the second generation that is involved with Corvette. My father worked at St. Louis in 1953, and he was a general supervisor that went to Flint, Michigan, and his job was to learn how to build the 53 in Flint, and he was responsible for getting the 53 built in St. Louis. And so obviously we have some heritage and tradition.
I have to ask this, do you own a Corvette?
Absolutely.
You do?
Is there any other car?
Chevrolet's commitment to excellence is alive and well in Bowling Green. But nowhere do you see it more clearly than in the pride and the labors of those who staff the line. No matter what they drive home each night, the Corvette is their car. They want everyone to know that it's made of the right stuff.
Okay. Sabrina, what do you think about working here at the plant in Bowling Green?
I wouldn't want to work anywhere else, period.
Why? I'm sure there's lots of places to work. Why here?
It's clean, it's comfortable, it's good salary, and the people and the environment is nice to work for and work with.
Do you own a Corvette?
Yes, I do.
Really? How long have you had it, and why did you buy one?
I have a 1981, and it was a dream ever since I was a young girl.
So do you classify yourself as one of the Corvette enthusiasts?
No.
Why?
I think everybody wants to own a Corvette, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just an average, hard-working person that bought my dream.
There aren't many dreams that can be bought, and even fewer that you can watch being manufactured. The Corvette assembly plant in Bowling Green, Kentucky is truly a special place. Not only is it an industrial center, but it's somewhere where dreams are made. There's something else very special about this place, for it is here where the world's only 1983 Corvette is housed. The new model that was introduced in 1984 was originally intended for '83. But complications associated with designing, engineering, and tooling up for this new generation of Corvette caused delays. Fewer than 50 1983s were manufactured. This is the only survivor. Well, we've watched this dream car evolve. We've even watched it being manufactured. Now, let's watch it have some fun. Corvette is more than just a sports car, it's a lifestyle. After all, you don't need a Corvette if you're just looking for transportation. There's a certain breed that seeks out a vehicle like this. You've got to have an eye for style, a lust for power, and a sophisticated sense of how to have fun. There is a bond which often exists between the Corvette owner and his car. A bond that is rarely seen between man and machine. A bond so strong and mystical that you sometimes have to wonder which one possesses the other. Corvette owners really get involved with their cars. One of the ways they do this is by belonging to one of the many Corvette clubs around the country.
I would not own a Corvette, not be part of a club, whether this or another club. But the whole concept of Corvetting with clubs is that you have something in common with all the other people in the club. And Corvette owners are all just outstanding people. They're a good group of people.
Everyone's friendly and just have a good time, and you just feel real special. You don't have to drive fast, just be in it.
Members, Corvette enthusiasts, love to get together in their cars and drive them and have fun and just spend time together and just enjoy the cars. You know, everybody enjoys to drive them and have fun with them, and so we're going to be doing some fun things today.
As you might expect, one of the favorite club pastimes is to go out for a drive. These, however, are not your usual Sunday excursions through the countryside. Corvette owners like to put their cars to the test, so they seek out demanding roads with challenging turns and dips, and roads with long straightaways for a good full-throttle run. By the way, the cameraman who took these scenes is still in therapy. There is a dark side to all this, unfortunately. As exquisitely engineered as the Corvette is, it still has its limits. Mike Face, owner of a paint and body shop that specializes in Corvettes, has seen a lot of vehicles that have been pushed a little too far.
They do perform very well, but then we get right back to the point where you can push these things to the outer limits, and I'll tell you what, it's just a fine edge between handling and slipping. And I've heard that time and time again from these people that come in here. You know, they got their favorite corner and they push it a little bit more, and road conditions change from day to day. You may have a hot day, you may have a cold day, and you know, they just slip. And when they slip, we're here to repair them for them.
Another favorite club activity is to sponsor and participate in shows. Here's where the collectors and restorers get to strut their stuff. Some who enter the stock competition seek to precisely emulate the original condition of the car when it left the assembly plant. Others who enter the modified field are bound only by the limits of their imagination. For many owners, the Corvette they drive off the showroom floor is an unfinished canvas. They enjoy making a few distinctive amendments to complete the bond between themselves and their car and to truly make it their own. There are many companies which cater to this market. Daytona Dash, a manufacturer and supplier of fine wood grain accessories, is one of them.
This is an ultra-thin product. It's 1/8 of an inch thick. And what we do is use a Tessa 9mm double-face tape on the back of the product. All the customer has to do is clean his dash, peel off, stick it on. No screws, no glue, no mess. And it gives it a beautiful appearance. Our finish is unique in that we hand pour 3 coats of a commercial grade epoxy with a UV inhibitor, so any sunlight coming into the car will not fade it or distort the colors.
Corvette owners are not at all shy about discussing their love affairs with their cars. Even if you don't have time to listen, they'll still find a way to tell you. And if they can't catch your ear, well, maybe they can catch your eye. We spent a lot of time telling you something you probably already know. The Corvette is a very special automobile. But nobody says it better than the Corvette enthusiasts themselves.
They're just the most fantastic car I ever drove in my life.
Corvette's a rad machine.
It is. It's an obsession. How you drive it, where you drive it, how you park it.
Why do you own 3 Corvettes when you can only drive 1?
Well, you have to have your show car, you have to have your driver, then you have to have the one you work on.
I enjoy having something probably that other people wish they could have.
This is a part of you, you know. I mean, you work on it, you clean it, you do everything to the car. You don't want anybody else doing it because they may mess it up.
It makes you feel like you're a different person almost. It's the only real American sports car.
I think I'd look pretty wonderful driving one of these.
The chicks fully dig on them too.
It went so fast I kind of lost control, but it was fun.
Pretty unique feeling. You know, you just feel like you're a special type person, and it's something that only another Corvette owner could really understand what I'm trying to say.
Well, it's small and it's just so sleek, and I love all the colors. I don't know, it's just a nice, fast car. It's a sports car. It's a 2-seater. I don't know. It's just neat.
Would you say that you're obsessed with the Corvette?
I wouldn't. My wife probably would.
Does he treat it better than you?
No, but we're darn close, I think.
I think Corvette is, in my opinion, Corvette is probably the American dream car, and I think the fun of owning a car is being able to have a piece of the American dream, kind of like apple pie and Chevrolet.
"40 years ago, a team of automotive engineers and stylists got together to create a dream. 40 years later, the dream still lives. It's hard to explain why the Corvette has been so successful, but it's not hard to understand. The Corvette appeals to something in all of us, something we can respect. It's not just strength and beauty. The Corvette symbolizes commitment to excellence and adherence to principle. And so long as it does, it will remain America's dream car. For this is the American way. We hope that you have enjoyed this tale of man and machine, of legend and fantasy. And we hope that all of your dreams will come true.